A warm welcome to all of you. My name is Anish Gopinathan and I am a faculty at IHM Goa. Today we are going to do a demonstration on Goan cuisine. So let's go to our first dish, which is Ukadem Shit. Ukadem means parboiled and shit means cooked rice. So with parboiled rice, you may not be able to use the absorption method of cooking. So for this rice, you need to cook it with the boiling method. So the first step would be to wash this rice a few times to remove any kind of impurities. So let's start with that. You make sure that you mix really well, rinse the water off and a couple of times to ensure that any small impurities or remain of the bran or the husk will be removed. So if you are using the boiling method, you know the rule. You need to take the 5 times the volume of the rice. And so once the rice is rinsed with water, we can keep water for boiling and add the rice for cooking. Now this is going to take around 45 minutes, around 30 to 45 minutes, and you have to observe it from time to time so that there is enough water for the rice to cook and that it does not get mushy. In the meantime, we will go on to our second dish, which is mutton shakuti. It is basically a combination of different roasted spices combined with roasted coconut and made into a beautiful gravy by adding different ingredients.
Mutton to make this dish as mutton shakuti. Now I have divided the preparation into 3 stages. The first stage involves cooking your mutton. The second stage will involve making the masala shakuti paste, and the third step is to combine both to make this gravy. Now to save time, I have taken 500 grams of mutton. I added a pinch of turmeric and salt, 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, and I have pressure cooked it for 8 to 10 whistles depending upon the toughness of the meat. And I have, once it is cooked, I have drained it and kept it separate. Now the stock which was separated in the process, I have not thrown it off. It can be used for extending or adjusting the consistency of the gravy. The second step is to roast or broil your spices, and the spices will include 4 to 5 chilies, 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds, a teaspoon of fennel seeds, a teaspoon of cumin seeds or jeera, a heaped teaspoon of poppy seeds, four to 5 cardamom pods, 5 to 6 cloves, 2 sprigs of mace, 5 to 6 peppercorns, 1 star anise, a 1-inch thick of cinnamon stick. Now the first step is to broil these spices. So let's do that.
Now once the spices have been heated, you can come to know when it is crisp, and you can see the sound changes slightly, and you can see the fragrance coming out of them. You can immediately transfer into a bowl, which can be later combined with coconut and onions that we are going to roast now. So we'll take a little bit of coconut oil I have here one chopped onion, and half of a coconut which has been grated. And a quarter teaspoon of turmeric powder. Now we have to have a very slow flame and cook this mixture till it becomes golden brown. Now to save time, I have already prepared the masala paste which will look like this. So what you have to do is, once you have roasted this mixture of spices, you come mixture of onion and coconut and turmeric, you combine it with the roasted spices and add little water and grind it to a smooth paste like this. Now that our coconut paste is ready, we can go on to our third step. Now we'll start off with lighting the flame and take a heavy bottom pan for the cooking. First we will add 2 tablespoons of oil. And allow it to heat up. I have chopped 1 onion and we can saute that in that oil. We don't have to cook the onion too much. It has to just get soft or translucent, and then we can add on the mutton pieces and then we can roast it for some time. Meanwhile, we'll have an eye on the rice which is cooking and make sure that there is enough water in there for the rice to boil. I can see the onion has become soft and now it's become translucent. I can add in the cooked mutton pieces. Now, if you prefer to make it more spicy, you can also use a little bit of chilies at this stage. And I have got 2 sprigs of curry leaves, and it will roast along with the mutton. Now it's time to add the masala paste to the mixture. And we can use the stock which we have kept aside. Now we can bring it to a boil, and then we can put the flame to simmer and let the gravy get more thickened, and we can finish off. Now our mutton shakuti has been simmering around 10 minutes now, and you can see the fat from the coconut oil has risen to the surface, and the gravy has thickened, that it's coating the pieces of mutton. Now we can check for seasoning and also add a little bit of tamarind pulp, which will give that slight tanginess to the gravy. Now I had added salt earlier while cooking the mutton as well, so I feel the salt should be enough. think the salt is perfect right now, and the gravy is done, and now we can switch off the flame and we can put it into our pot so that we can do the presentation and be ready. One dish is ready, but I also checked on the rice, and here the charcuterie we can garnish it with coriander leaves and keep it ready for service. On the other hand, rice has been cooking, and I had checked from time to time and added a little bit of water because it had reduced drastically, and let's see if it is cooked. Now the rice has been cooking around 40 minutes now, and I think now it is almost done. You can see that this water has been drained. We can transfer it to another bowl and let the excess moisture get evaporated or just otherwise get collected in the pan below. Now we can transfer this into a clay pot that we have. So a hot Ukadai Shiri is ready, and in the meanwhile we will go on to the other two dishes, which is Ambadache Sasa and Mankani. Now that our first two dishes are ready, let's go on to the third dish known as Ambadacha Sasa. Now for this preparation, what I have already done is I have peeled them and marinated it with little bit of turmeric and salt. And you can leave aside for 1 or 2 hours, or you can leave it overnight in the refrigerator. And after doing that, we have to boil them with just enough water to cover the ambadis. So let's start with the cooking process. So we can put the ambadis into the pan along with little water to cover them. And along with that, we can add around, now I have 10 to 12 ambadis, so I can take around 100 grams of jaggery. Now the usage of jaggery depends upon the sourness of the ambadis. So it will depend upon the ripeness stage of the ambadis. So you have to taste it, and accordingly you can add more or less as required. So here I am adding around 100 grams of the crushed jaggery, and later on I will check if the sweetness is right enough, and I will add more. Now we let this to boil around 10 to 12 minutes so that pulp gets soft in texture. Now, in the meanwhile, what we will do is prepare the coconut paste which is required to make into the final part of preparation of this Ambadacha Sasa. So we will require just 3 ingredients: coconut, dry red chilies, and a tablespoon of coriander seeds. We have to combine the 3 parts and grind it into a coarse paste. So we have to be careful, it should not be very smooth in texture. So it has to be a coarse paste which we will add it to the ambadis once they are cooked. Now our ambadis have been cooking around for 10 minutes and they have become a little soft. And now we can go into start with the second stage where we will be preparing the tempering. And while this was going on, I have went ahead and ground the mixture of coconut, red chili and coriander seeds into this coarse paste which we can use to prepare the gravy. So let's start with the tempering process, and for that we will require curry leaves, we will require mustard seeds, garlic and 1 chopped onion. So let's go ahead. So we'll start with around 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. And I'll just use a single leaf so that I can use it for garnish. So this I will keep aside just to finish the presentation. I'll add a few curry leaves. Now this dish particularly has a slight mustard flavor, so you'll probably need around a whole teaspoon of mustard seeds. And let the mustard seed crackle, and we can add the garlic. Uh, 5 to 6 cloves of garlic would suffice, and we just saute it just that the raw flavor of the garlic goes off. And we can add the onions now. Now we don't have to brown the onions nor the garlic. It has to just become little soft and translucent, and once that is done, we can add the cooked ambades into this along with the water which is remaining in the vessel. The onion has become translucent. Now we can switch off the flame of the cooked ambades and pour the ambades into the pan. And along with that, we can add the prepared paste of red chili, coconut and coriander already cooked. So we don't need to simmer the gravy for long. Just good enough that the gravy thickens and gets to the right consistency required. I think the sweetness in the gravy is enough and balancing the ambades there, but just a little bit of salt. Now I had added salt to the ambades and kept it for marination before, so I just need a little bit of salt just to balance out the sweet and sourness in the ambades. So now the gravy has thickened, and you can see a little bit of oil oozing out from the sides, and we will switch off the flame and we will present it in the dish that we have. So our dish is plated now. All we have to do is just put that leaf of the fried curry leaves on top. So coming to a last dish, which is mangane. Mangane is a dessert, and it is made with chana dal and jaggery and coconut milk. So let's go into the process. I have already cooked my chana dal till 3/4 done, and what we can do is we can add the chana dal into the pan, the sago pearls. Now these are uncooked, and these have been soaked for around 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll add it into the 3/4 cooked chana dal. Now the sweetening agent is your jaggery, and I'll add around, and that depends upon preferences. If you want more sweetness, you can add more jaggery or less if required. And once jaggery is added, we can add the thick coconut milk. And we should not use the thick coconut milk for cooking at a high temperature because it will cause it to curdle. So now let's start the flame and cook till it becomes a thick kheer-like consistency, and then we can go ahead with adding flavoring it with the cardamom powder and adding the coconut slivers and roasted cashew nuts and a dollop of ghee on top. So let's wait to cook the kheer. Now our mangane, our chana dal kheer has been cooking around for 10-15 minutes now, and it has reduced and it is now like a kheer-like consistency. Now we can go towards the finishing process of the mangane. Now I have already fried some cashew nuts and coconut bits that I'll add into this. The main flavoring of cardamom, and I have cardamom powder here. I use around a quarter teaspoon. And we will switch off the flame and add the thick coconut milk. And while you do that, try to stir it, because there are chances due to the high heat, the coconut milk may get curdled. And now our mangane is ready, and we can plate it in the dish we have. And I have reserved some of the coconut milk, which I can use it for garnishing. So with that, we have completed our menu for today. We have our ukare jid, which is goan parboiled rice. We have a mutton shakuti, which is mutton cooked in roasted coconut based gravy. You have a ambadecha sasa, which uses hog plums, and again with a raw fresh coconut based gravy. And the last is your chana dal kheer, which is cooked in coconut milk and sweetened with jaggery. So I hope everyone has enjoyed our demonstration on the first menu of Goan cuisine, and looking forward for our next demonstration, which will cover the more Portuguese influenced Goan menu. So thank you everyone. See you for our next demonstration.